What's up guys, Julian Goldie here and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to take a look at keyword research for SEO and how you can find money-making keywords. Now when you think about it, SEO is all about finding the right keywords. I mean, you could do everything else right, but none of it's going to matter if you focus on the wrong keywords, right? Like suppose I have a blog that teaches people how to sing, which is actually something I'm not bad at and something I'm going to cover in a future video. And let's say I want people to buy my singing course. If I focus on the wrong keywords, it won't matter how many backlinks I build or how much content I produce or even how well I rank or how nicely my designed site is. I'm just not going to reach the right people or enough people. And at the end of the day, no one's going to buy my singing course and I'm going to have to do SEO work forever.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
So yeah, focusing on the right money-making keywords is really important. Now get this wrong and you might as well say goodbye to your SEO hopes and dreams. Okay, that's fair enough. But now you're probably wondering, what counts as the right keyword? Well, that's a pretty big topic, but it's basically what this video is about. Throughout this video, we're going to cover a number of tactics that help you find the right keywords for your website. You don't really need to spend a lot of money here, and in fact, the tactic we're going to cover in section number 2 is actually a really good way to identify amazing keywords without having to spend any money at all. Of course, if you want to spend some moolah, that's fine, as we're also going to cover some premium tools that will help you spot amazing keywords in a matter of minutes. Anyhow, make sure you stick around until the end so that you can learn everything you need to know about finding the best money-making keywords. Let's get started. So some basic things you need to understand about keywords. So to begin with, let's just cover some really basic things you need to understand about keyword research. First of all, it's important to understand these concepts because they're essentially going to be the things that help you separate the good keywords from the bad. In fact, once you understand these concepts, you actually understand the fundamentals of keyword research and you'll be able to come up with your own tactics to find money-making search terms. This will help you take things to the next level if you ever feel as though you've squeezed as much as you can out of the tools and tactics we're going to mention throughout this video. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch on here is that keywords can essentially be split into two categories: informational keywords and buyer keywords. Now it's fair to say that you could probably drill things down a bit more here, and some people like to include many other categories. However, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible for you and for the sake of this video, so everything is easy to understand, and I don't want to get into the weeds too much. Therefore, if I just split keywords into these two groups, we're going to be fine. Okay, so with that said, what do these two terms mean? And what are the actual differences between these two kinds of keywords? So informational keywords are basically search terms people type into Google whenever they're looking at some information on a certain topic. These keywords might start with words like how, why, best, tips, guide. If you have a pet store, a relevant informational keyword might be something like how to keep my aquarium clean. These kinds of keywords attract a lot of search volume, and you'll actually see examples of these keywords later on in this video. Anyhow, for the most part, the people using these keywords aren't actively looking to buy something. Because of this, if you're running an e-commerce store or something like that, you don't want to focus on these keywords too much, as people aren't really using these keywords to find products to buy. However, if you're running an affiliate site or a site powered by ads, ranking for informational keywords can actually be really lucrative. That's essentially because you're trying to get lots of relevant people to visit your site so that they can click on your ads and links, and informational keywords are great for this kind of thing. For example, one of my sites, cheaperbirds.com, generates thousands in affiliate and ad income. It can do this because it ranks highly for lots of informational keywords that have high search volume. So some people like to say informational keywords don't really drive a ton of revenue, but as shown here, it all really depends on how you're monetizing your website. By the way, one of the reasons this site actually managed to get a lot of traffic is because I managed to build some amazing backlinks to it. If you'd like some advice on how you can build backlinks to your site, book in a free consultation with us at juliangoldie.com. Anyway, as mentioned, buyer keywords are the other kind of keyword you can focus on. As you might have guessed, buyer keywords are basically the keywords people use when they're actively looking to buy something. And surprise, surprise, a lot of the time, most of these keywords start with the word buy. If we take the pet store example from earlier, a buyer keyword might be something like buy aquarium or buy filter for aquarium. If you're running a site that actually sells something, these keywords can be very lucrative. It's worth mentioning here, there can be other variations too when it comes to buyer keywords, and some of these variations can also be very specific. For example, when typing in buyer keywords, people might include the name of a certain product alongside some specific requirements. So in the aquarium filter example I just mentioned, someone might use the keyword buy Fluval, which is just a filter brand, aquarium filter for a small cold water tank. On top of that, buyer keywords could also include something like the word discount. Anyway, that's a quick overview of the two different kinds of keywords you'll likely come across. Now, you'll generally want a good mix of the two if you want your SEO strategy to be effective. But does search volume matter? The second thing I just want to touch on here is the topic of search volume. A lot of people tend to think search volume is the end all be all. I mean, if a keyword has a really high search volume, it has to be good, right? Well, while it's true that search volume is important, you could definitely say that it's not the most important thing. I mean, the most important thing would probably be relevance. After all, if you have a website that sells aquarium supplies, it's not going to do too much good if you're driving a lot of traffic with a keyword related to horse supplies. Aside from relevance, intent is another factor you could rate as more important than search volume. After all, in many cases, buyer keywords can drive more revenue than informational keywords. Now, a lot of the time, these buyer keywords don't have a really high search volume, especially when compared to informational keywords. Therefore, if you prioritize high search volume keywords over keywords that have a lot of buyer intent, you're probably not going to focus on the kinds of keywords that will generate the most money. But of course, like all things in SEO, there are exceptions. So, like as mentioned earlier, if you're running a site powered by ads or something like that, you could argue that it's better to focus on informational keywords that drive lots of traffic. But either way, that's kind of another point altogether. Anyway, this can all be a little bit complicated, but the main point I'm trying to make here is that you shouldn't make search volume the main thing you focus on. There are a couple of other things like intent and relevance you might want to focus on before you should start prioritizing search volume. If you just skip ahead and go straight to search volume, you'll probably be in trouble. So make sure you figure out the other stuff first. By the way, if you have a spare moment, please remember to like and subscribe on this video. If you like my videos, it will let me know you're interested in this content, and I can then focus on making more videos like this. Plus, if you become a subscriber, it will be much easier for you to find my future videos, and you'll then be able to learn about the other really important parts of SEO, such as link building and creating content. Anyhow, okay, so now we've got that out of the way, let's actually cover some of the strategies that will help you find good money-making keywords. So strategy number one is Google Keyword Planner. So the first strategy I'm going to cover here is based on the Google Keyword Planner. If you don't know about this tool, it's a tool designed for people that want to run AdWords ads on Google, but it's actually a really nice SEO research tool too. This tool throws out a ton of data, but the main things we're going to look at are keyword suggestions, search volume data, and CPC data, otherwise known as cost per click data. Now you might be wondering why CPC data is helpful when it comes to identifying money-making keywords. Well, the CPC data tells AdWords advertisers how much it will cost for them to target a keyword. However, when it comes to SEO, CPC data is actually very helpful. That's because the higher the CPC is for a keyword, the more likely that it will produce good results for your SEO blog. After all, if this wasn't the case, advertisers wouldn't be willing to spend so much money targeting a certain keyword. So yeah, if you want a quick way to identify high ROI keywords, look for the ones with a high CPC on the Google Keyword Planner. Of course, there are some exceptions here and there, but for the most part, this tends to be true most times. Now let's cover how you can find some keywords using this tool. For the sake of this video, let's suppose I own a website that sells wedding dresses. First, let's try to come up with some informational search terms. So remember, informational keywords might include something like the word tips alongside my core keyword. So in this example, I'm just going to type in wedding dress tips into the keyword planner to see what comes up. And as you can see, there's some pretty interesting examples here. If I scroll down a little bit, I can see even more examples. Now it's fair to say that most of the search volumes here aren't that massive. I mean, the estimates for a lot of these keywords are 10 to 100 average monthly searches. However, a lot of the time, these estimates can be very conservative. Plus, in some niches, you'll generally just find the informational terms don't generate a huge amount of traffic. That's just how it goes sometimes. That said, I'd say that these keywords are really relevant as most of them are pretty specific to this niche. So if you can rank for them, you're going to be attracting some high quality traffic, and that's going to be really helpful if you want to convert some of this traffic into customers later on. Anyway, let's see what we can come up with when we type in a buyer keyword. Let's go with the obvious example of buy wedding dress. So as you can see, we're once more presented with a bunch of search queries based on our initial suggestion. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sort these keywords so that the ones with the highest CPC are shown at the top. Right, after doing this, I can see some of the best buyer keywords in this niche. If I target some of these keywords with an SEO campaign, there's a really good chance I'll be able to build a profitable website. Now, one of the really cool things about Google Keyword Planner is that I'm able to sort search terms into groups. I can do that by going into the grouped view section. If I do that, I can then see lots of different categories for when it comes to potential buyer keywords. For example, if I click on the buy cheap category, I'm then shown a list of buyer keywords that would be relevant if I wanted to reach people interested in buying cheap wedding dresses. Again, if I can rank for these keywords, I'm sure I'd be able to achieve some amazing results. By the way, I just want to mention that you can also use this tactic when looking for informational terms too. Now, sorting keywords by groups is just one of the cool tricks you can use with the Keyword Planner, and everyone tends to have their own little set of tricks that helps them find interesting search queries with this tool. Now, if you have a cool technique that helps you squeeze more out of the Google Keyword Planner, let me know in the comment section. I'd love to learn about it. Anyway, the Google Keyword Planner can be a brilliant way to uncover keywords that would be a relevant fit for your SEO campaign. Of course, the search terms you can actually go with will depend on what you're actually willing to cater in your business. For example, if you're trying to sell premium wedding dresses, you might not find much value in ranking for the term cheap wedding dresses, no matter how good the search volume and CPC metrics are for this keyword. Because of this, you should always review your capabilities as a business when searching for and selecting keywords for your SEO campaigns. Because if you don't verify how relevant a keyword is to your actual capabilities as a business, you might end up putting too much energy into terms that don't really have an impact on your business either way. Okay, so that's basically how you can find good keywords with the help of the Google Keyword Planner. If you want to check out this tool, you can find a link to it in the description of this video. Now, you might be thinking, this tool is nice, but you might also want some more information on how difficult it is to rank for these keywords. After all, if you use this method, there isn't really any data here in terms of how competitive any of these queries are. Luckily, SEO tools like Ahrefs can come to the rescue here. And in the next section, we're going to look at how you can use Ahrefs to take your keyword research to the next level. Now, Ahrefs.com is basically a premium SEO tool that can help you do tons of different things when it comes to SEO. This video is mainly about keyword research, so for now we're just going to focus on how we can use the keyword research features in this product. So as mentioned earlier, Google Keyword Planner is a good way to find keywords, but it doesn't really help you that much when it comes to competitive research. I mean, if you have some experience with SEO, you could probably take a keyword and just work out how competitive it is without having to spend money on tools. However, if you're new to SEO, you might need a little bit of help here. Luckily, Ahrefs can help you with this, as it actually provides you with a keyword difficulty score, and this can make it really easy for you to quickly work out how competitive a certain keyword is. Later on, we're actually going to look at how you can find good keywords using this score. But that's not the only good thing about Ahrefs. Another really cool thing about this tool is that it has a massive keyword database. So if you type in a keyword into this tool, it will actually provide you with tons of relevant suggestions that you can use as part of your SEO campaign. This can be really helpful if you're trying to develop a comprehensive SEO strategy that really covers a lot of ground. Okay, so with that said, let's take our wedding dress example from earlier and review how Ahrefs can help us out here. So if I go to Ahrefs and type in wedding dress, I'm essentially presented with a dashboard that provides some insight into this keyword. So you can see a keyword difficulty score, but you can also see search volume data too. Now, if you look near the bottom, you'll also see some keyword ideas too. Now there's tons of things to sort through here, so let's just quickly touch on a few key points. Firstly, you'll notice there's a question section on this dashboard. If we click on this, we can actually see a list of questions keywords associated with our initial keyword. A lot of these keywords are generally informational terms. However, some of these question keywords are actually a good combination of both informational intent and buyer intent. For example, someone typing in how much is a wedding dress is probably very keen on buying a wedding dress in the near future, and so it would be a good idea to rank for a keyword like this. Anyhow, there's a keyword difficulty score here next to each of these queries, as well as some volume on search data. This information can be really helpful if we're trying to figure out which keywords we should focus on. After all, we can't really target all of these keywords, so we need to ID the ones that will be worth our time and attention. If we're dealing with a new site, this generally includes keywords with a relatively low keyword difficulty score. So if we're just starting out, we might want to focus on the search terms that have a difficulty score that's under 20. Fortunately, Ahrefs makes it easy for us to find keywords that are in our keyword difficulty range, as I can just adjust the filter settings so that only certain kinds of keywords are shown. For instance, here's an example of what happens when I set the max keyword difficulty score to 20. I can then just go through these results to find keywords that look as though they'd be a really good fit for my campaign. By the way, if I want to find some general informational search terms, I just need to click the All button under the Matching Terms header. This will then show me all of the keywords associated with my initial wedding dresses keyword. And if I want to find general informational keywords here, I then just need to refine this list, so that includes kinds of keywords that are associated with informational searches. For example, I might adjust the settings so that I'm only showing keywords that include the word guide. I can also use this approach to find highly relevant buyer searches too. Again, I can just do that by refining the search so that includes the word buy. Okay, so that's kind of just a rough crash course on how you can use Ahrefs to find keywords. There's lots of other little tricks you can use here to find keywords in Ahrefs, and to be fair, there's just tons of little features and settings you can mess around with to find search terms. Because of this, I really recommend you just spend some time with this tool so you can figure out what's possible. Of course, if you have any experience with this tool, when it comes to keyword research, let me know in the comments section. It'd be cool to hear about how you're using this to get results. And if you want to check out this tool for yourself, you can find a link to it in the description of this video. Okay, that's the end of this video. Hopefully you now understand how you can do keyword research for your website. Keyword research is one of the most important parts of SEO, so you should really try to get your head around everything we've covered. Of course, if you're confused by anything here, feel free to leave a question in the comment section and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. If you like this video, it'll help us reach more people, and if you become a subscriber, you'll see my future videos, such as my 10-part video series on why SEO is so important. Thanks for watching and take care.